Welcome back for another What I Read video. So get your comfy sexy ready and settle in while I tell you about the books that I read. These are the books that I read from December 30th through January 5th. Two of these were arcs. One is already out by the time this video is going live. The other one might be out, so I'll let you know when its release date is as well. The first book I read was The Path to Loving Him by Megan Quinn. This is the third book in the Almond Bay series, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that when I signed up for this arc, because Amazon does not list this book as part of a series. If you look on other places, it's definitely part of a series, but the one place I looked didn't say it. Lucky for me, this book, while part of a series, book 3, and what I believe is going to be a trilogy and stay a trilogy, doesn't actually need to be read in order. This is a true standalone within interconnected standalones. The first two books are about two other couples, and when we meet them, the way that they got together isn't necessary to read about in order to understand this particular story. So that was a relief. This book is about Ryland and Gabby. Ryland is the third sibling that the other two stories are about. They're about his sisters, but Ryland is getting his own book now. Ryland is a high school baseball coach, a really well-respected one, coaches kids and has had students get scouted for the minors and even the majors. He has recently become the guardian of his niece after the oldest sister in that family passed from cancer. So he's dealing with a lot of turmoil in his life. He's a new guardian. He's got a 4-year-old that he's taking care of. There's a new member of the school board who's decided to hire him an assistant without any input from him whatsoever. So he's feeling a lot of turmoil and he doesn't handle change very well. Gabby is the FMC. She and her brother Bennett were in the foster care system. Bennett is an incredible baseball player and in fact was coached by Ryland when he was in high school. Bennett currently plays for a minor league team and Gabby's been his home coach, been working with him on his skills, on building his ability ever since they discovered that this was something he not only was good at but also really wanted to pursue. She is looking to become a coach herself and is in town to interview for an assistant coach position with Ryland, who doesn't show up to the interview. We know why. It's because he wasn't allowed to. But for Gabby, all she knows is that he didn't show up to the interview, that she thinks she bombed. She is now at a bar in the hometown, drowning her sorrows before heading back to her actual place of dwelling. I don't even remember what city she lives in, but it's not Almond Bay. Ryland walks in with his best friend who's like, dude, you are in a crap mood. Your sister has your niece. You gotta get laid. Ryland doesn't recognize Gabby from when she was Bennett's guardian. And so Gabby's like, you know what? He's real hot. I'm feeling a little petty. I'm gonna make a move. And they have an incredible night together. Why not? She doesn't live there. She doesn't think she's getting a job. He's fine with a one-night stand. And they go their separate ways. Well, as you can imagine, she gets the job. And as part of this whole thing, she's offered up a really reasonably priced studio apartment above a garage of someone's house. Oh, and that house has just been sold to Ryland. So not only is she back in town, she is now his tenant. It hasn't yet told him that she's actually going to be his assistant. Shocking to me, that whole situation plays what I feel a very little part. The actual job part, the coaching part, the having to work together part plays a much smaller role in this story than I was expecting. I would think that that's a much bigger deal, but I digress. Suddenly they see each other again and their chemistry has gone nowhere. It is just as fiery as when they met. And so they're dealing with, oh my God, I am incredibly attracted to my new tenant and you make my life complicated. / I'm incredibly attracted to my new boss who doesn't know he's my new boss and I feel very awkward. And it's quite funny because they keep coming back together and after every time this is the last time. No, for real, this is the last time. I'm telling you this is the last time. It's never the last time. And that's fun to watch. It's a lot of spice. It's a really long book too. It's like 500 pages and there's a lot of spice. I saw someone post something that said it starts in chapter 2 and it just doesn't stop. It's true. There's a lot of plot. It's not all spice and no plot, but there's a lot of spice for how forbidden and anti getting together these two seem to be about each other. They hook up quite a bit. It's supposed to be clandestine, but it's not. There's a lot of additional interaction that they're forced to have. Not only is she his tenant, but then her shower breaks. And so the only shower she can use is in his house. So every night she has to come into his house to use his shower. There's a lot of really cute moments. It's really funny. And once they do get over the forbidden aspect of it and kind of admit to each other that they want to date, they're solid. They're committed to each other. And they're really beautiful together. The thing that I remind myself when I'm reading Megan Quinn books is the answer she gave when I asked her how she wants women to feel reading them is she wants women to feel joy. And I think she's done a great job with this. The stakes, while high, there's a lot that could go wrong. There's a lot of emotional baggage that they're both wading through and having to reckon with. It's not romantic suspense. It's not life and death. And so I really enjoyed that I could kind of coast with, like, the worst that's going to happen is they're going to be sad and angry and maybe lose another job. Again, I felt like the job thing should have played a much bigger role in this. Like, it should have been a bigger deal that they ended up dating because he's technically her boss. Anyway, not the point, not kind of the point, but not the point. It was nice to know that all of those big, scary, dire circumstances that can be prevalent in other romance novels don't seem to be prevalent here. A hefty book. Megan Quinn writes a hefty book and a spicy book. If you liked How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, but you wish there was more spice, and it's not necessarily like super kinky spice. It's a really cute story. It's got a lot of small town energy. And I will say that the epilogue absolutely destroyed me. I was not expecting to tear up at that, but she got me. She got me with that. I'm curious. I want to read the first 2 books, not because I feel like I'm missing out, but because I really enjoyed this one. And I want to see what she wrote in these other 2 stories now that I know the community, now that I know what I'm getting into. I do want to read those. And I enjoyed it a lot. So that one came out. I'm recording this after it came out. It came out on January 7th. So all 3 books are out. When I checked last, they were on KU if you're a KU reader. So you got plenty of opportunities to go read this. Ooh, you might notice that there are 2 different covers. I like the ones that look like postcards. Just saying. I look like the ones that look like postcards. I have a lot of spice highlighted in this. Whoops. The second book I read was also an arc. This is Love and Other Hollywood Endings by Susannah Erwin. This book comes out on February 25th. This is a second chance kind of miscommunication of the past, forced proximity workplace romance. Yeah, that works. Sutton and Xavier met when he was teaching a seminar on film writing at Sutton's college. They had a lot of connection in that class. Nothing happened until after the class was over. The night before graduation, they shared a kiss. They didn't go further than that. And then both of them feel ghosted by the other. And that's where the miscommunication comes into. But in the now, Xavier is still a film director. He's directing his first big major motion picture. And shit has hit the fan. Not because of him, but because his producer turns out has been skimming money off the top and ran away with it. Sutton is sent as a representative of the production company to shut them down for being way over budget until they figure out that the producer was doing all the sketchy things. And Sutton goes to bat to keep this production going, to keep this film alive. And the way that she does that is by agreeing to be the producer on site for the film to oversee the rest of filming on location. So now they're stuck in the Arizona desert together, having not seen each other since that night 10 years ago, both with hurt feelings. It's a lot. So they're working together, they're bouncing ideas off of each other, they're spending this time together, and the tension is building. In fact, the entire film crew has been taking bets on whether or not they're sleeping together, have slept together, will sleep together. You guessed it, all of it. This is a fairly short book. It is almost, honestly, it's novella length. It's kind of the same length as My December Darling, the Lauren Asher novella, but this is a full book, or being presented as a full story. It's cute. There's a lot of fun tropes. Here are my two things. There's nothing bad about this. I really did enjoy it. But I felt like the pacing of this book was the pacing expected from a screenplay. In a screenplay, you don't get minutes, pages of introspection, inner monologue, and time between action. A blink can take 5 pages, but in a screenplay, a blink is a fucking blink. And I felt like at moments, this book didn't take enough time. We had too much action without living in the head of the person doing the action. I wanted to know why. I wanted more inner monologue. It felt really fast, which in a movie is fine. You're filming. You can add stuff in a way that maybe you couldn't. You can add visual cues and beats, but when you're reading, those pauses, those moments of breath come because we're sitting in the thoughts of our point of view characters, the narrator, whatever. And it really hit me at the end when we're dealing with some of the bigger emotions of this book. I was missing those thoughts. It felt like too much action. Was the action the wrong action, or action I didn't wanted? No, it was exactly what I wanted to happen. I just wish that I had a few more sentences of, here were my plans, here's what I want, here's how it made me feel when I saw him from across the room, or I ran into him, or I realized my plans were ruined or made. Those things that make a book real fun and special because we're in it together. I felt like those were missing from this. Because it's an arc and it's probably not out yet, I can't share quotes with you because it's still going through final edits. Honestly, maybe there's another 30 pages that have been added since I read this. I don't know. Y'all are gonna have to read it and tell me. But the cover is great. The story was fun. I think that there's a lot of potential. I do kind of wish there were an extra 30 pages. I wanted a little more light, fun, and easy, so I went back to those Christmas short stories, even though this was after Christmas. Who cares? I read all holidays all year round. It's fine. This one was Cruel Winter with You by Allie Hazelwood. I love Allie. I think that especially this year, she's grown so much as a writer, and I was intrigued to see what she was going to do with less than 100 pages, and do stuff she did. This short story is about Jamie, FMC, and Mark, MMC. It is a best friend's brother second chance snowed in situation. All of that in less than 100 pages. Jamie has known Mark since he was born. They have a long history, from adorable little kid to teenage nemesis, and they live now in the same city as adults. Jamie is in her residency in peds, and Mark, he started a tech company when he was 18, 19. 18? Must have been 18 his freshman year. Dropped out of college because Jamie said he should. Other people were saying, no, you shouldn't. She said, I believe in you. You should go and take this chance while you have it. And it turns out she was right, and he has done very well for himself. Mark has been in love with Jamie since he was a preteen, honestly. Their relationship has kind of ebbed and flowed. He was 16 when she was 18. When she found out about his feelings for her, she went away to college right after that. They didn't see each other for a few years. Then he went and started this thing. And as an adult, they've seen each other, but they've never spent time together until a few months before this situation. Let me tell you where they are in the present. Jamie walks over to his house to borrow a pan that her dad knows his parents have. It's a snowstorm, the snow's really bad, and she ends up getting snowed in at the house with him, where we, through a series of flashbacks, get the story of their relationship. And it turns out that on her birthday, several months before, Mark shows up and says, I'm ready. I told myself that I was going to wait until I felt like I deserved you and I achieved these goals in my life and I've achieved them and I want you and I love you. And Jamie, because she's having a bad week at work, because she was overwhelmed, because of lots of things, goes, no, what are you talking about? And says some really hurtful stuff. She knows it's her fault. Then there's an unexpected missed connection. And so both of them, while snowed in this house, are just so angry. Mark's angry because he knows that Jamie loves him. And by not giving him time, by not letting herself love him, he sees that it hurts her. She's sad, she's lonely, and he wants to help her. Jamie, through this missed connection, feels rejected by Mark and embarrassed and doesn't want to be around him when, all of his feelings are gone. Takes less than 100 pages, y'all. I'm not, this is 2 hours of reading, so I'm gonna ruin it. Turns out she left a voicemail on his phone the next day going, no, I'm sorry, I love you, I don't think that you're all those things that I said and I do want to be with you, but what millennial checks their fucking voicemail? So Mark never got it. And it's a great moment when he listens to the voicemail in front of her, and I can imagine this scene in real life, just this, are you fucking kidding me? You left me a voicemail on my personal phone? What millennial leaves voicemails? And who expects anyone to listen to voicemails? And it was adorable. Like with Only Santa's in the Building, and I'm guessing the rest of these little short stories because I haven't read the others. It doesn't matter that there isn't a ton of plot or character development, though I was very impressed with how much history we got in this little short story. And a little bit of spice. Not a ton of spice, but it's 100 pages. It's fine. It's enough spice for 100 pages. For me, like an hour of reading, maybe less. And it was a really nice palate cleanser after 2 arcs. I have to say that sometimes reading arcs can feel very high pressure. What if you don't like it? What if you have criticism? What if, you have to read them by a certain time? It can feel like a lot. And so this was a nice little palate cleanser, low stakes short story for me, which also helped because the last book I finished was Immortal Dark by Tejas Gurma. And here's the crazy thing about this. This is the first book of a trilogy. I can almost guarantee that I will love this trilogy. But the experience of reading this book was very hard for me, and I'll share why. I'm gonna get really vulnerable about it. Sorry, I can't say that word. Her head is not a pleasant place to be in. One of the things that I prefer, and I think it's why I struggle with dark romance sometimes, is I want redeemable people and love. Both of those things. And there are a lot of moments in this book where Keaton, our FMC, does not feel like a redeemable person. And what she builds with Susannah is not love. Oh my God, I have to make sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, Susannah, spelled like this. Hopefully, right there. So, doesn't feel like love or a lasting bond. And that made reading it not the most pleasant for me. She is so angry. Keaton is so angry, and she has the right to be. Let me back up to the world building and the reason why I think I will love this trilogy. This is one of the most unique visions for vampires that I've ever read. Ever. It is PNR, not fantasy, because it's set in our world. But vampires and everyone in this story are Black. They're based in Ethiopian history, geography, lore, religion, all of that is what inspires this book. And it's so well woven into the fabric of the society that we see. In this world, vampires can only drink from a select group of humans whose many times great ancestors made a pact with the vampires of yore in order to do that. They said, we will be the ones you drink from, and you will connect with us. We will be partners together. You can't create vampires without giving up your own life. So there's a certain number of vampires, and there will only be that certain number of vampires unless someone's, gone off the deep end and is breaking all the rules. Keaton is part of one of those families. She is the last, she believes, not really believes, she and her sister are the last of this line. She was sent away from her family. Her parents died. Her aunt sent her away to live with this random ass woman. So she wasn't raised in the society. She wasn't raised in her ancestral home. She doesn't understand the culture that exists in the community that she's part of. She was forced to lose her language. She was forced to leave this space and this connection and live isolated and alone and in fear. And at the beginning of the story, we find that her sister has gone missing. Her sister has been taken by a vampire. And Keaton has spent months, if not a year, months, right? Looking for her. She has spent months looking for her and committed atrocities in order to find her sister. She's been given a name, Susannah, and she is trying to get to the community that she's from, this place called Ulaxe. Oh my God, I can't even say all of this. Uxley. I should just put a word term. But it turns out that place has a curse on it where you can't find it. You have to be invited in, which is why she can't find it. She finally gets invited because her aunt has died, leaving her to inherit this house. Or the person who she believes kidnapped her sister, the vampire she believes kidnapped her sister, will inherit her house. And so she goes to Uxley, I'm so sorry, in order to find her sister, get this vampire to confess, and get the fuck out of there. There is so much justifiable rage in this book and in Keaton. There is. It's not pleasant to live in at all. She hates herself. She believes herself to be evil. And she says in her head multiple times that she's going to destroy Susannah and then herself, because she must destroy all evil, and she herself is evil. It is way more complex than I just explained. It's so deep. It's so hard. It's an academy book because at Uxley, she has to enroll in this college to earn her place as the heiress of this house. She has to pass these classes in order to inherit. And so much happens. Bunch of murder, bunch of maiming. It's not pleasant, but the complexity of this world is so exciting to read. I just wish I wanted another point of view character. Anyone. Because being in her head, being in this rage, as justifiable as it is, but watching her make assumption after assumption and be cruel and uncaring and so self-loathing was not an enjoyable experience. Like I said, this is the first of a trilogy. This is the first book in a trilogy that I'm all going to have to buy in hardcover. And I will, because I want it, but I quite honestly don't know if I can read the next book until the third one comes out, because I know for myself, I will need to push through all of it and get to that HEA. I don't think I could wait. If you love vampires and you want more interpretations of vampires, read this book. If you don't mind a very angry FMC, read this book. If you don't mind blood, gore, intrigue, betrayal, those really complex aspects of kind of gothic-ish academy books, you'll love it. And it wasn't that I hated all of it. Honestly, we got to page like 300 and I was like, yeah, I'm in it. I'm ready. Action's happening. I am all for this. But it took until page 300 for me to get there. So if you're in it for the long haul, if you can be in it for the long haul and you can push through, I think you'll love this book. I'm so glad that I read it now that it's over. Well, that is it for this week's What I Read. I hope you got your comfy sexy on. Let me know in the comments where and how you listened to this video, watched, experienced this video, what you read in that week, what you're reading right now, what you think maybe I should read next. And until the next time, this is Jace holding space for you.